How many tears, how many scars does it take to know what we are? Are we scared? Are we lost?
Hey everyone, this is Blogovision Tatiana here with Janek, who is competing in Eesti Laul this year in the semi-finals already with House of Glass.
Hi everyone.
People here in Estonia know you for Estonia's Looking for Talent, Eesti Superstar of 2012, but that's been a while ago, and then you moved
10
to
years
London.
ago, yeah, Estonian Idol.
How old were you then?
18.
18.
18.
Oh,
Now I'm
God.
28. Oh, there you go. Time flies.
But then how did your life move on from then on when you moved to London?
So my life has been quite different since Estonian Idol because I was quite naive because when I got eliminated from the TV show, I thought, well, it was my long-term goal already to go and study in London, do some music stuff and everything. But I wanted to stay in Estonia for a bit longer to see if there are any more opportunities. So instead of going to London, I went to Tallinn University and I studied Italian language and culture for a year. But I didn't think that I was progressing a lot as an artist. So one day in spring of 2014, I went to a Swedish class in Tallinn University. Yeah, I was taking some Swedish classes.
You were studying so many languages,
Yeah.
weren't you?
Yeah.
Italian, I heard, German.
German, Swedish, Croatian, loads of languages. And then one day, for the first time, I didn't complete my homework, although I was really good at Swedish, but I just didn't complete it. During that lesson, I didn't do it really well. And the lecturer said, well, you have to choose between work and university. So this is where I decided I'm leaving the university and I'm going to London.
Wow.
So so I sent out my application to London, to BIM, British and Irish Modern Music Institute. So I sent in my application form and I got accepted. I was quite thrilled. So I was finishing some bits and pieces here in Tallinn, earning a little bit of money because it's really expensive to move to London.
I imagine.
Because many people probably don't know, but when you start out, you have to rent a room, not a flat, because it's really, really, really expensive.
We do know that.
Yeah. Either way, I finished university. I went to travel around the world. I lived in Melbourne, Australia for a little bit, and then I came back to London and got stuck, so said, in a corporate world. So currently I work in an asset management firm. So we basically invest our clients' money. I don't do anything with money myself, so I'm just head of the administrative department. But I'm really passionate about it. It's quite interesting, but I found that I wanted to spice up my life a little bit, so I just wanted to find my way back to music. And this is why I wrote a song with Kjetil Morland, and we tried for Eesti Laul this year.
Yeah, why not? Why can't you combine, two passions in life? Or
Yeah, you can definitely do that. So maybe
most of us do that too.
maybe one day it might become a full-time job. So, well, basically, during the pandemic, I thought that I need to start writing my songs again. And I had a good friend who lived in Wales. He was a really talented producer. And we wrote two really, really good songs together. They haven't been completely finished. But at the beginning of this year, sadly, at the beginning of last year, he sadly passed away. So it was really sad for me because we worked really well together, and writing songs is quite personal, and it's really hard to find a producer that understands your style, your tastes, and how you want
It feels you, yeah?
Yeah, how to make the song that you feel it and that the listeners feel it, and how to make your voice sound good as well. And it's really hard to find people like that for me personally. So during that time, it was quite sad to me. And I thought, you know what, I'm done with music. So I just left it as it is. But something struck me in my head back in autumn, in September, that, you know what, I need to get myself together and finish these songs because they were really good, actually. So I decided to get in touch with Kjetil Morland because I really liked his work. And I namely know him from the song that he wrote to Rikke, Attention. And I personally think that you should work with people whose music inspires you, whose music you like. These days, you don't know.
Interesting thinking, you know?
Yeah, you don't know what the formula is. For 50 years, you haven't seen somebody probably winning Eurovision a couple of times in a row, except Ireland. I think we had Johnny Logan, I think. But you don't know the formula, and I think you just need to go to Eurovision with a song that you would enjoy performing, where you can be yourself as an artist, where you don't pretend to be anybody else. I think that way you are most genuine, and I think that way people will trust you and believe in what you say.
Speaking of that, House of Glass is a super emotional and deep song. What's the emotional background of it? How did it come to be?
So actually, the melody was stuck in my head already for quite some time, of the chorus, and it was quite an annoying melody.
Which part of the melody, if you don't mind?
The chorus.
The chorus.
And I was actually asking my flatmate what they thought of the melody, and they thought it's awful.
Why would you ask them?
Because I don't know. I just said because what we did is I got in touch with Kjetil, and he got back to me quite quickly and said, yeah, sure, let's get in touch. Let's meet up and let's write something, because he lives in the UK as well, so that was really a reason why quite easy for me to get to. So I went there with 4 ideas, and he picked this melody that was considered annoying. However, he did give a little tweak, because the melody used to be da 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 da. So it was like really straight.
Yeah.
But he was like straight away. Da, 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 da,
Yeah, because that's way more smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, so he smoothed it out, and that's where we got continued, and the song was born in basically half a day. So it is an honest song, and the song is about breaking points that happen in relationships, because there's always time that where there's hard times. You know, you can have a relationship or you can have a career, and sometimes you get a burnout. But you still have passion for it.
Yeah.
So there is always a way to rectify the problems. And the same in relationship, if love is there, you can still work on it. It's just hard work, you know. Obviously, when
and
love.
You shouldn't throw stones, because we live in a house of glass.
Exactly, yeah. And then House of Glass actually is quite an interesting metaphor, because the house is the symbol of the relationship, and glass is
And it's fragile.
Yeah, it's fragile.
You mentioned, that you had this period in life when you didn't know exactly to continue going for music or not. Good that you decided in favor of music in the end. And the same story happened after Estonia's looking for talent, previously, because you had this kind of discouraging, demotivating period right after the show. Do you think it can repeat with Eesti Laul in a way that you'll be like, oh?
I hope not. So actually, with the Eesti Superstar, with Estonian Idol, I didn't have a massive discouragement. I still had like a long-term goal that I would want to continue singing, but I think as an artist, I just needed a bit more time. Eesti Superstar is a TV show where people expect you to be ready to conquer the stage, you know.
And you were so young.
I was really young, and I would say my childhood has been quite humble. So I wouldn't say that I have experienced a lot of things in my life at that stage. I haven't even traveled the world a lot. I've probably been to 1 or 2 countries by that time. I went to Estonian Idol. So for me personally, studying music abroad, meeting so many people, living in Australia, traveling the world has, opened my, kind of my eyesight around the world, and I understand the problems of the world a bit better, and I think I've learned to open myself up as a person and also express myself better.
One of the people who helped you at that time, by the way, pick yourself up, you said, was Elina Born, right? Who everybody knows for Goodbye to Yesterday.
Why didn't you wake me up? I'm pretty sure I would have told you to stop.
So do you remember exactly what she said back then to you to motivate you back to continue singing, to not drop it?
I think with Elina, the story was that she was just such a lovely person to be in the show with. I could always talk to her, and I really admired her musicality, and she was a really humble girl. Many people don't know her, I think, in real life. I think back then when I spent quite a bit of time with her, she comes across as really a confident artist, but in the backstage she's quite humble. And this is what I really like about people. But she was always there for me, during the show, and supported me in every way. And when the TV show ended, I went to I got a part-time job in the same hotel that we stayed at during the show. So I worked in reception, and then there was a night, I think it was a New Year's Eve night or something. She came
The New Year magic.
Yeah, I don't know, was it New Year's or was it something else? She came to visit me during the night. She came like 3 a.m. or something, which was quite funny. I was at reception, she was at the phone, and like the revolving door started like, opening, and I was like, who's that? Oh, Elina's coming to visit me. And she was on the phone like, oh my god, he is here. So she put the phone away and she came to talk to me. So we spoke about music and everything, and yeah, I think, I don't remember the conversation exactly, but I think she just said to keep working on my dreams. So I feel that music has been with me since I was probably about 5 or 6, and this is something I think about a lot, and when I tried to suppress it by not doing it, I actually started suffering. So I think what I've learned is that you shouldn't give up on your passion. I know that there are passions that might not bring a lot of money, but I think you need to have some degree of it to be able to, by the time that you get old, you'd say you had a happy life.
One interesting question I thought of is, aren't you thinking of a duo with Kjetil later on after Eesti Laul maybe, to sing the song together? Because your voices, I think, would be in such a nice harmony.
I need to ask him. I don't know if that song is his style anyway, but I think we could do it well, I think. I can confess that actually I was thinking in a funny way that maybe, because Tomi Rahula, the head of the delegation of Eesti Laul, once mentioned that they would want to see a male duo at Eesti Laul. Why not come to? Yeah, why not come with Kjetil Morland? So maybe one day, you never know. But I think Kjetil, he's got some great songs himself. I think the style that he's doing is more of a pop rock stuff that he does, which is quite cool.
Which is also appreciated at Eesti Laul.
Definitely. I mean, the more rock, the better now these days, isn't it?
I'm, by the way, such a big fan of the rock bands this year. I mean, rock bands and Oli.
With Oli, I think it's just a good ballad. So the song he wrote could sound well just with piano and strings, or in a different pop key or something. So he wrote it in an alternative rock style, and I think it works. I think it's the melodies, the music, and the lyrics that personally inspired me. That's what I really liked about it. It's not the style, because it's complete opposite to me, to my music style, complete opposite with regards to his voice. Yeah. But I think his voice is great, and I think what he's done is great.
So you don't skip the song, do you?
It doesn't come up on my playlist, but I did, whenever I listen to it, I did obviously listen to the end. So yeah, I think he's done a great job, and I wish him good luck.
All right, thank you. What about the Eurovision artists of maybe recent several years, or overall in the history of Eurovision? Is there a particular one that you look up to? You're like,
well, my all-time favorite is Loreen with the song Euphoria, and I would say, because again, I'm attracted to mystery, beautiful, special voices. She's got a special voice. You can't beat that.
Sure, it does. Yeah.
And the fact that she's humble, I just really like that. She doesn't give away too much.
That's what helped her win, I think, in the first place, because people felt this. They saw it's not like a queen kind of star.
And it was actually probably the only song that actually probably caused me euphoria by listening to it, like the cold shivers, goosebumps, because the song has been famous before it was released. I was like 17, 18 back then, and 17 actually. And the song was already famous before the Melody Festival and final. It was like all over the place, all over the internet. And the first time I heard it on like some cheap earphones, it was so good. And I was like, oh, gosh, this is amazing.
Is that the time when you had goosebumps?
Yeah, that was the time I had goosebumps.
Okay.
Because I think it was the whole package. I didn't listen to the track by itself. I saw the performance, the live performance. I think this is what was amazing about it. And she really inspired me. From last year, for example, I did like Chanel Slow Mo. I did like WRS.
You are just talking about my next question. Who is your last year's winner? Is it songwriter or Slow Mo?
I don't know. I wouldn't say there was one song that I could pick as a winner. I think a lot of them deserve to win.
Yeah.
I think probably because I'm from the UK, I would have probably wished that UK won it. Yeah. But you know what? I think they won people's hearts anyway. Songwriter is an amazing artist, and I think what I'm actually glad for that he actually. I think people started loving Eurovision in the UK once again because of Songwriter, because it used to be really hated and underrated.
Sort of broke the spell that Britons hated because of Brexit.
Everything. I personally was ashamed of talking about Eurovision because there is a lot of prejudice about Eurovision. People think that it's all political, which I kind of disagree at times. I do think that people, for example, in Eurovision, the reason why sometimes they give high points to the neighbor countries is not exactly because it's a neighbor country. Because when I vote for somebody, it's not because Latvia is my neighbor country, or Russia, or Finland, or Sweden. It's because I think stylistically we're more similar.
Yeah.
Geographically.
You can relate to that.
If you go south, Greece, Macedonia, former Yugoslavian republics, like Serbia, Croatia, they have a little niche, like, a little bit of music that is quite similar, or even Greek and Turkish music can relate to each other, can be a bit similar, or Cypriot music,
And we hope things happen for you this Eesti Laul.
Oh, thank you.
And if not this Eesti Laul, then next, just keep on pushing if you don't get it this time. We so believe that one of these days, it's, good vocals and great music writing should pay off in the end.
Thank you. Well, I hope so too.
Thank you so much. Awesome song. Wish you all the best luck, and hope to see you again on our channel.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.